Alright, just a little disclaimer before the video. If I look oily and sweaty as hell, that's because I am. Also, the audio quality might be a little bit bad because my microphone exploded. It is truly the Oli London. Boop. So, hi, it's GOODREADS. So I was just minding my own business, but I saw this.
And I've been very confused about how I identify, and it is Pride Month at the moment, so but I am coming out as non-binary, and my pronouns are they, them, Korean, Jimin, because I know a lot of people don't understand me, but I do identify as Korean, and I do look Korean now. I do feel Korean. I don't identify as British, so I know it's a little bit confusing for some people. Nobody's ever come out as Jimin or Korean, but
I'm not gonna get up here and bash her like everybody else, but she need a lot of psychological evaluations.
I had a lot of questions. Are they just doing this for publicity? Is this the Rachel Dolezal effect? And who even is Oli London? And so we Google. And here we have, is Oli London a K-pop idol? Why is Oli London famous? Can I marry Jimin? Is Oli London Jimin? Just the fact that this comes up makes me upset. So Oli London is a British TV personality, and they've been on many shows, including one by the BBC titled Being British East Asian.
Particularly the issue people seem to have with me is because I'm British, I'm not Korean.
Been on Dr. Phil and on the Daily Mail TV show where he famously married a cardboard cutout of Jimin. Is Oli London a K-pop idol? Kinda. I mean, he's got songs. You just have to look at this. Like this one called Heart of Korea, where he's holding a Chinese umbrella wearing Japanese clothing, and I'm 99% sure that this is Kyoto Gardens, which is in London. For a song called Heart of Korea, we'd really be appropriating and traveling all around the world. There's this one song called Lockdown City, which they published during the pandemic. I guess he was going for cornrows, and they tweeted in their words, it was so that they could look gangster. Should we start with the cultural appropriation or the racial stereotyping? I disagree with this whole sentiment that they want to be oppressed so bad. Like, no! They don't want to be oppressed! Are you kidding? They just want all the aesthetics and the fashion to pick and choose when it pleases them without any of the lived realities or consequences from being from a particular race or culture. What? They don't want to be oppressed! There's a common theme in Oli London's music videos. Single-handedly doing more for Asian representation than the entire Western media. It's giving me real white guy with an East Asian fetish. Koreans and BTS, especially Jimin. You poor thing. And they've had 18 plastic surgeries costing around $175,000 to look like Jimin. Now people can do what they want with their money, but this is society if people just spend that on therapy instead. Anyway, I spent some time scrolling their TikTok to truly get insight into who they are and the type of content that they make. So I watched around 270 TikToks out of the 890, and I didn't even make it past May of this year, right? The devil works hard, but Oli London works harder. I am also clearly unemployed, so if any companies want to sponsor me, hit me up, yo! And just for the sheer fact that I did that for this video, I would appreciate a like or a subscribe. Anyway, here are some super basic Year 7 maths findings. He mentions Korean culture without mentioning Jimin approximately 62 times out of the 270, leaving that's around 23%. And the TikToks about Jimin were around 59 TikToks, which is around 22%. Added that up, 45% of his videos about Korean culture or BTS or K-pop in general. But it's not just the Koreans who need to hide. South Asians.
Namaskara guys, welcome to 3 hand gestures that every Kannadiga and Kannadati knows. First, Yenu, yen beka, uta aita. Third, Aidu.
Japanese.
Atto gozaimasu. Kawaii. Kuro kuro. Kire. Tanoshi. Saranghai.
Chinese. They're really all out here, Christopher Columbusing the entire world. So hide your cultures because nobody is safe. I mean, they won't pronounce anything correctly anyway.
만나서 반가워요.
반갑습니다.
이름이 뭐예요?
네?
이름이 뭐예요? okay. Hello, Dr. Yoon. 만나서 반갑습니다. How are you doing?
At first, I was like, this has to be some sort of addiction or obsession going too far. But the more I saw their TikToks, the more I was like, they have to be joking. Kind of like Trisha Paytas, who kind of says controversial things just for more clout. Like, even when they're getting roasted by actual Koreans, they reply in a way that makes them seem like they're kind of playing into the joke.
My uni, my nuna, my eggy, my 여자친구, my... Will you come back to me?
But the dude's 31 years old. There's no way in hell that they don't understand it. There was a time when they called Billie Eilish Billie Irish. Now that's just rude, Oli Lisbon. Or they call literal random people oppa when firstly, the person they're calling might be younger than them. They don't know the person at all, and they're not a woman.
No, I'm actually not Korean.
진짜 오빠? But you really do look Korean. You know I'm half Korean, right?
Now to address this video,
They, them, Korean Jimin.
racial transitioning to Korean.
I haven't been trapped in this body my whole life, but it's been the last 8 years and it's been very tough. I've been very confused and I've had so many people online bully me about my looks, my love of Jimin, my love of Korea, and people just don't get it. Because I'm sure there's many other young people out there that do identify as Korean or maybe as Japanese, and they don't have the strength or courage, or they don't know the words how to express this. And it's
I mean, Korean Jimin is not a pronoun, but they can go to Korea, take a citizenship test, and, become a Korean citizen. Why race and gender identity are kind of not the same thing. Firstly, there's this concept floating around called transracial. I think if you can change genders or your gender identity, why can't you change your, racial expression? Especially when race doesn't really have any biological grounds. Although there's no, specific genes that make you part of a particular race, racial classification is more than just a social construct. Racial categorization will shape the socioeconomic experiences that you have in terms of access to jobs, certain education, how you live, how you're treated by society. The concept of race is super deep and it's not for this video. So here's the question, should race be a malleable thing? Or can we view race in a more sort of essentialist manner? Should Oli London be able to identify as Korean, not in terms of nationality or citizenship, just the same way that Rachel Dolezal wanted to identify as black? I feel unlike biological sex or gender, which is kind of assigned to you at birth, a race and your ethnicity is kind of rooted more in your ancestry. Different races are treated differently around the world, and you inherit different types of intergenerational inequalities. And it kind of defines how you're treated by the people around you, by governments, by institutions. For example, in the UK, let's talk about education. White graduates tend to have the highest employment rates compared to other ethnic groups, or Chinese, black, and graduates who describe themselves as other are more likely to be poor, and we're also the most likely to be in persistent poverty. I mean, I feel we definitely don't live in a post-racial world, especially with Oli London. There's one TikTok where he said that he's not half British, half Korean. And then he said he is not 75% British.
Me is because I'm British, I'm not Korean.
And it's just these inconsistencies which lead me to believe that I feel even if a part of it is real, I feel what they've done is they've realized the clout it can get them. They've been on so many TV shows, they can get money off of this, they can get media attention. They've really taken that idea and kind of just exploited it for clout. I feel being Korean and changing races is more than just a plastic surgery on your face and being obsessed with K-pop. I feel if they really wanted to be Korean, firstly, they would be respectful of the languages, the rules of linguistics and the culture. Secondly, they would try to actually pronounce the words correctly. And I heard somewhere that Jimin was uncomfortable with this, and if you truly respected your supposed idol, you wouldn't go ahead and try to look like them, especially if you knew that what you're doing was creeping them out. When you're younger, you're so into stan culture and it's borderline obsessive and a little bit creepy. I feel this is what's happened to Oli London, except that they're 31 years old, they have access to money, and they've clearly taken this obsession to another level. I'm super curious to hear your opinions on if you think people should be able to just identify as any race, especially if they're not mixed race, they're from Britain, their parents are both white. I feel like the only way I can see where that might be okay is if like you were either born in a particular country or you've lived there for like a large portion of your life and you're really truly connected to the people and the culture or whatever. I feel like some people say, oh, it's not harming anyone, who cares? But I feel like it is. It's kind of like a slap in the face because this isn't a pick and mix, you know? You just pick and choose your privileges whenever you want. Please do share your thoughts. I'd love to have a discussion, and just for the sheer fact that this video filming process was cursed, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed this type of thing. It really helps my channel out and it helps me grow. Not in height. I'm 5 foot. There's probably more to say, more that I could have said, but it's 31 degrees in England and I feel like a baked yam. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram and I'll see you next time. Oli London. Honestly, like, I don't know why I'm giving him more attention, but it's too hot, man. Boop. Are they just doing this for a bit? Boop.